there is a massive rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm going to probably talk about it in the class tonight in more detail in our Tuesday night Parsha class. Share with you a talk of the Rebbe on this. Anyway, what happened? So where were we holding in our story? The last 2 days, Sunday and Monday Chumash. There's a man called Korach. He's a younger cousin of Moses, and he wants to overthrow Moses. And his argument is, Moses, why do you deserve to be the king and your brother Aaron the high priest? What about the rest of us? Why are we all not holy? Do we all not belong and deserving to also be Kohanim? And Moshe says, it's not me, it's from God. Everything I'm telling you is this is what God chose. There's only one ark, and there's only one temple, and there's only one altar, and there's only one kohen, and that is the way Hashem had organized Judaism. So if it was up to me, I don't mind that you should all be Kohanim. So let's see what happens to the story. Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron saying, Moses and Aaron, move away, get away from this whole community. Remember, we said there was a face-off. Moses and Aaron came together, holding the pans with the incense on it, and Korach was there with the two troublemakers, Dasan and Aviram, with the 250 leaders that joined the rebellion of Korach. And God tells Moses, move away, step aside, go away from the group here. And I will consume them, I'll devour them, I'm going to destroy them. What they're doing to, we learned the prayer yesterday. Moses begged God to save him and to not accept their fire. And here God's saying, I want to just wipe them out. Verse 22, Vayipla Paneah. So Moses and Aaron fell on their faces. They fell on their faces. Vayomer, when they say to God, Kel Elikei Haruchos, God of all spirits, basically, God who knows man's thought, right? Because when there is a rebellion in a regular kingdom with a regular king, the king actually does not know who is part of the rebellion and who not. So he has to kill more people, being unsure who is the one who's part of the rebellion and who not. He has to take care of business. And when he gets angry, he punishes everyone, not knowing. It cannot be pinpoint, like surgical in getting rid of the enemies, because he doesn't exactly know who's an enemy and who's not. So Moshe tells Hashem, God, you're God of the spirits. What does that mean? You, God, know everybody's brain, what they're thinking. You know exactly who are the troublemakers and who not. Who are the ones that are plotting against Moses and against you, God, and who not. Will one man sin? You're going to get angry at everyone. You're saying you want to destroy the whole nation. You're not what you want to do. I don't understand. Moshe tells God, you're telling me to step aside because you want to wipe everybody out. So Hashem says back to him, you're right. That's not my plan, actually. I'm not going to wipe everybody out because of one man's evil act. I never meant that, as I read the commentaries explaining Rashi. I meant step aside from the evil people, and I'm going to surgically wipe out all those people who need to be wiped out. Listen what happens. So Hashem says to Moshe, saying, speak to the congregation. Everyone was there for the face-off, Lamar, and tell all the people that are not involved. It's Korach, Moshe's cousin, with Dasan and Aviram and the 250 men, a face-off against Aaron and Moses. So, but however, all the other Jewish people, if you remember, I told you yesterday's Chumash, Korach was a rabble-rouser. He got all the other Jewish people to come watch. So Hashem says to Moshe, tell the community, the rest of the community that are not involved, that are just spectators, that are bystanders, Halu misaviv lemishkan, go away from the dwelling place of Korach, get away from his tents. Dasan and Aviram, and the tents of the two troublemakers who joined Korach that we learned yesterday, whose name are Dasan and Aviram. Tell everybody to get away, step aside, move away, get away from Korach and his tent and Dasan and Aviram. Verse 25, Vayakam Moshe got up, Vayelech al Dasan and Aviram. He's going to try one last time. And he walks over to the two troublemakers, Dasan and Aviram. And the elders, you can imagine the entourage are following Moses, the elders of the Jewish people. Remember, we have 71 elders. So you have Moses traveling and the 71, the head Sanhedrin, maybe the elders of the Jewish people. And imagine Moses comes to your door and knocks on your door and hoping that the guy will come out and show some respect to Moses. And they completely ignored him. Imagine that. Moses with the whole entourage of the elders of the Jewish people come, hoping that Moses will show him some respect, will come out of the tent, and they completely don't. Moses speaks to the congregation, Lamer, saying, move away from the tents of these evil, wicked people. Don't touch anything that belongs to them. Because God forbid, lest you perish, lest you get caught up and you'll die with these people. Stay back, stand back, don't touch anything that belongs to them. Get away from their tents. And everybody withdrew. I guess there was all the spectators there. They stepped back, they moved away from Korach's tent, from his dwelling place. And Dasan and Aviram, and so too with Dasan and Aviram. Savi from around them, they made a perimeter. Dasan and Aviram Yatsu, and Dasan and Aviram now walk out of their tents. Before they were ignoring Moses. Now they walk out. Nitzavim Pesach Aleim, standing by the door of their tents. And they're standing with them, like chutzpah, like in your face. Was Neshehem, was their wives, Uvneim, and their sons, Tapam, and their babies. And was a whole family anti-Moses experience. Everybody together was defiant of Moses. And Rashi says they came out with a haughty bearing, like upright, cursing and blaspheming. They were like cursing out Moses and blaspheming him. And Rashi says here, very interesting, that his wife, the woman, and the children and the sons, even the little kids, are going to all get caught up and get killed. And Rashi says, we usually have a rule that a Beis Din in this world, when they don't punish anybody under 13 years old. There's no punishment under 13. And heavenly court, the rules are even more extreme. You're not punished until you're 20 years old. Your brain is not fully functioning yet. And they're not held accountable in heavenly hands till you're 20. But what happened over here was that Korach led a machlokes, an argument, a debate, a rebellion. This is much worse, and everybody gets caught up, even little children get caught up in there. So one of the commentaries said that when a father leads his household in such a way to fight and argue and go against Moses in this rebellious way, the whole family gets caught up in the rebellion. And even the kids grow up being part of that rebellion and destructive. So the punishment can even Hashem might even punish the little children in that case, even though usually Hashem doesn't punish little kids, because they're all part of the rebellion and they're going to grow up to be rebellious too. So they're standing at the door of their tents, Dasan and Aviram, with all their families, their kids and everybody. They are cursing out Moses, making fun of Moses. And Moses told everybody, step away from these tents. And these people are standing in front of the tents, cursing out Moses. Verse 28, Vayomer Moshe, so Moshe says, with this you will know that Ki Hashem shlachani, that God sent me. Last, it's a kol ha'ma'asim ha'ela, to do all the actions. Ki lo yimeliv, I didn't make it up. And as I told you yesterday, this is very important because God forbid, if we believe that Moses made something up, how do we know the whole Torah is true? So here's a guy questioning that Moses went and made things up by themselves. It's a very dangerous threat to be making, claim to be making against Moses. And Moses is setting putting down the line. He says, you should know. This you should know, that everything I'm doing, even the appointment of Aaron to high priest, and his children should be the regular Kohanim, and Elitzaphan should be the priest of the Kos family. You should know nothing is made up on my own. Everything comes from Hashem. How will you know? What's going to be the sign? Verse 29, in Kemois kol adam yamusun, if like any person dies, these people will die. Like the regular person dies, that's how these guys will die. Ufkudas kol adam yipaked, and they will have the fate or deal with the struggles of every regular human being, right? The regular health challenges or whatever, any challenge the person has. Loi Hashem shlochani, I made it up. God never sent it to me. I made up these positions of power for Aaron and for myself. And the guy's right. And the guy has a good argument. If these people die like regular people, then you should know their arguments is true. However, verse 30, V'bria Yivra Hashem, if Hashem will create a brand new phenomenon, a new creation that never was before. Upatzisa Adam Espia, and the land will open its mouth, Uvala Isam, and swallow them up, Veskal Hashem, and everything that belongs to them, all their possessions, but Yardu Chaim Shailah, they'll go straight into hell, they'll descend alive into the grave. Them, and you will know that these people provoked as Hashem, that they fought against Hashem. It wasn't me that they're fighting, but they're fighting for the Creator. So Moses says a prayer, and what Moses says, a proof that if Hashem makes it that they will die as no man has died before, in a way that the earth will just open, swallow someone, and then close itself up, then you'll know that I am a liar. I made up the stuff. But And the rabbis say that either Moses was praying and saying either that Hashem should have pre-made some kind of a sinkhole right here from the 60s of creation, and if not, Hashem should create it now and make this miracle. Some of the commentaries say like hell came closer to the earth, and they'll get swallowed up and go straight into hell alive with their whole bodies and their whole family and all their possessions. Then that is a sign that they are wrong. Verse 31. As soon as Moses finishes, as soon as he finishes speaking, it's called Dvar Meila. This whole all the words he just said. The land split open, and that was under them. And the land opens its mouth, and it swallowed them up. And their houses, and all people that belong to Kairach, and all the property. Yardu heim b'chol ha'shaylehem, and they went down and everything that belonged to them, chayim sha'ila, alive to the grave. And the land covered back up, and they were disappeared. They were lost from the assembly. The earth perfectly open, the earth perfectly shut, and these people are gone. They disappeared, and they're not around with the Jewish people anymore. A tremendous miracle happened. Very clear that Moshe was not lying. Chol Yisrael asher Sehem, and all the Jewish people that were around them, that were around the tents, nasu l'koilam, they ran away from the massive noise, the noise of the ground. Can you imagine the earth is opening and shutting? And they got very scared. They said maybe the land will swallow us up too. Let's get out of here. They started running away. And then after that, a fire came down from God. And it ate, it consumed, it burned 250 people, Makrivi Aktairis, that were holding the incense, that were leadership people that were back in Kairach into the competition here with Aaron, and they were burnt alive as they died in a fire that came down from Hashem. So Hashem turns to Moshe and says, Emar Elazar ben Aaron, speak to one of Aaron's two alive children, whose name is Elazar, who are serving as Kohanim under him. He should go and collect all the 250 pans that those 250 men who died, who were burnt, were holding. From between the burnt area, there's a big burnt area there, but there are these copper pans. He should go and collect all the 250 copper pans, and they should throw away the fire, because the pans have now been used as a sacrifice. So the pans, even though they were an illegitimate sacrifice and they were used as a competition against Hashem, but they were still brought as a sacrifice to God. So what do we do with these pans now? Pans, they were used for holiness, so we can't just throw them in the garbage. What are we supposed to do with all those 250 pans that these people brought? I want you to make them into a vessel for the temple, because they were made holy. Let's see. The pans of the sinners, Ha'ela, the Nafshaisam, who sinned with their souls, because they were not just contesting Moses, they were contesting God. So they sinned. They went and they staged a rebellion against the Creator. You should flatten them out, make them plates. Take the copper pans and flatten them out to sheets of copper. And what you do with these sheets, you should make them coverings to the altar, to the mizbeach, to the copper altar, that outer altar, which stands in the courtyard, which they bring sacrifices on, and I guess add these copper sheets onto the altar. Because once these pans have been used to bring a sacrifice to God, they became holy. And in addition, it will also be a reminder, a sign for the Jewish people that whenever they look at these copper sheets that are on the altar, they're going to remember that, remember the story, nobody who's not a Kohen should bring, only Kohanim could bring and burn the incense. No one else should ever try to say that they want to be a Kohen when they're not supposed to be a Kohen. It shouldn't be something that should be done. And that's what he did. Verse 4, Elazar the Kohen took the pans, and they were made out of copper, that the people who were burnt brought as a sacrifice, and they made them as an overlay. They hammered them out, they flattened them out, as an overlay to the altar. Zikron as a remembrance, verse 5 of Bnei Yisrael, for the Jewish people, the man, that no stranger, no foreigner should come to bring sacrifice, that if he's not from the offspring of Aaron, to burn the incense. This is only something the Kohanim are allowed to do, and only if your father's a Kohen or you're a Kohen, and then you could bring this incense in the temple. You should not be like Korach and his rebellious group. Like Hashem spoke, we had Moshe, like in the hand of Moshe, that Hashem spoke to Moshe about Korach, and everyone remember that this is not the way we act. We don't contest the Kohanim, and so on. That belongs to them. Now, when I wrote in the text, I wrote this is going to be a shocking end to the story, because there is. Now is where the shocking end to the story comes. But what did the Jewish people do after they saw the story? You would think that they would say, oh my gosh, I better start believing in Hashem and Moshe and listen to whatever they say. No. The next day, the following day, the entire congregation complained against Moshe and against Aaron, Baal Aaron, and Lamar. What did they say to them? Atem hamisam esam Hashem. You guys killed these people, right? Not just that they did not listen. Now they're attacking Moses and Aaron. It's your fault. You made this whole plot. You made this whole plan. You're murderers. People started questioning your authority, and this is what you do to them. When it was when the congregation went up against Moses and Aaron, they turned to the tent of meeting, to the Mishkan, and the cloud was covering the tent. And God's glory was seen. Hashem revealed himself kind of in the cloud to the Jewish people. And Moses and Aaron started walking and went to the door to the Mishkan. Now, what happens next? You'll have to wait and see till tomorrow's Chumash what Hashem does to all these people that are now complaining to Moshe and Aaron that it's